Now we're ready. Okay, I'm going to re-tap because this is one of my favorite parts. It's 6:01 p.m. on Tuesday, December 16th, and I would like to welcome you to the Board of Education meetings. I'd also like to welcome those who are participating in person and those watching the meeting via live streaming on YouTube. We would ask that anyone addressing the board to please use the microphone at the podium and to identify themselves for the record. As a reminder, the link to the meeting is on the district webpage under Board of Education. The streaming will run through the end of the meeting. In the event there is a disruption in the meeting, I will pause the meeting until it is reestablished. We have a full quorum of the board tonight. No members are absent, and we do not have any board member participating telephonically. So we are all working well there. We are on item B, the Pledge of Allegiance. And tonight we are pleased to welcome two students, Ava McKinney from Raymond Gabaldon Elementary and Sophia Rodriguez from Valencia Elementary, along with Astro, the STEAM group project representative. Is coming up the aisle now. That's a little intimidating. And I know how I would feel about a guy coming towards me. And this is Terminator. Terminator. And this is a representative from the Los Lunas Public Library. So,
there you go.
Mrs. Chavez, if you would please read the bios.
Do you want them to come up? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. Please join Astro.
Yes, please join Astro. I don't think he bites. Does he bite? Okay.
Oh, he's waving.
Okay.
Tonight, we are proud to introduce Ava McKinney, a sixth grade student at Raymond Gabaldon Elementary. Ava is known on the RGE campus for her bright personality, genuine kindness, and enthusiasm for learning. She is a student who brings positivity to every classroom she enters. Ava has built strong connections with many of her teachers at RGE, and she especially has enjoyed learning with Miss Begay and Miss Hudgens, who she describes as both kind and fun. She comes from a close-knit family and is the middle child between her older sister, Tia, a 10th grader at Los Lunas High School, and her younger brother, Jeremy, a 3rd grader here at RGE. At home, she enjoys time with her pets, her dog, Sasha, and her cat, Toby. Ava loves pizza and chocolate ice cream, and if she could visit anywhere in the world, she would choose Galveston, Texas, a place she enjoys for the golf. At school, Ava plays the clarinet and band and is always eager to explore new opportunities. Looking ahead, Ava hopes to attend UNM and is considering becoming a teacher. Yay! Yay! She wants to inspire future students the way her teachers and her dad have inspired her. Ava was selected to represent Raymond Gabaldon Elementary because she has been a longtime student who consistently demonstrates positivity, respect, and kindness toward her peers, teachers, and staff. She is a wonderful example of the RGE Tiger Spirit, and we are honored to have her represent RGE this evening. Sophia Rodriguez is a 6th grade student at Valencia Elementary. Sophia is a bilingual student, fluent in both English and Spanish, and she uses her skills to support and connect with others in her school community. She enjoys learning, especially math, and serves as the president of Valencia Elementary Student Council, the Rat Pack. In this leadership role, Sophia takes pride in helping make her already amazing school even better. She describes Valencia Elementary as a place where students feel happy and safe, and where they can trust all the adults on campus. Outside of school, Sophia has a passion for the arts. She enjoys dancing hip-hop, jazz, contemporary, musical theater, and theater production. And she was even featured in a video with the Abby Lee Studios Dance Company. Looking toward the future, Sophia dreams of becoming a singer, actress, or surgeon, careers that would allow her to use her talents to bring joy or healing to others. Sophia is a shining example of the leadership, creativity, and ambition we strive to nurture in all of our students at Valencia County. And we have Astro. We are happy to welcome a special guest to help our students lead the pledge. Astro is a robotic canine companion acquired by the Village of Los Lunas' public library through a STEAM grant. Astro and his human adult programmers involved in the public library STEAM lab conduct outreach into many of the district's elementary 6th grade classrooms as well as other public engagements. Astro can assist in search and rescue missions, serve as a service animal, and even detect hazardous substances.
If you would stand. Ladies, would you face the flag with me? And we're ready for you to start it. Almost. Oh, Astro needs to turn around. Ladies? Thank you very much. You may be seated. Ladies, if you would, ladies, come right down here. Mr. Just, Miss Ava, correct? You're Sophia, right? You're Miss Ava. Thank you.
Bring any darkness.
You are Miss Sophia. Here's a goodie bag for you. Here's a goodie bag for you.
Astra doesn't get one.
Astra doesn't get a goodie bag, but Astra does have a certificate. So I want to thank you very much for taking the time and coming in. Isn't this cool? Thank you. Thanks for this. Appreciate it very, very much. And you are free to go. Nobody else is. We'll bar the door, but you guys can all.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Oh.
He does high fives.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Oops. There you go.
That's gonna be our next stop.
I know. Guess you go. I was like, I was doing that in cold season. Take them out or no? Okay.
We're on item C, announcement of the meeting. Mrs. Chavez, would you please announce the meeting?
This meeting has been announced in accordance with the New Mexico Open Meetings Act and the Los Lunas Schools Open Meetings Resolution, and is a legally constituted meeting of the Los Lunas Schools Board of Education.
Thank you very much. We're on item D, approval of the agenda. Mrs. Chavez, are there any changes or deletions to the agenda?
There are not any changes or deletions to the agenda this evening.
Thank you very much. I would stand for a motion regarding the approval of the agenda.
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Simoia. It has been moved and seconded, it's been moved by Mr. Bennett and seconded by Ms. Simoia to approve the agenda as it is presented. Is there any discussion? Having no discussion, I will call for the vote. Mr. Bennett, it is your motion.
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia?
I vote yes.
Mr. Otero?
Yes.
Mr. Vickers?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion passes 5-0. We're on item E, the report on the closed executive session, which was held prior to this board meeting. The closed executive session for limited personnel matters, specifically superintendent mid-year check-in per superintendent's contract. This is pursuant to NMSA 10-15-1H subsection 2. A quorum was in attendance. It was discussion only. No action was to be taken. As announced and posted in accordance with the New Mexico Open Meetings Act and the Los Lunas Schools Board of Education's open meeting resolution, a quorum of the Los Lunas Schools Board of Education went into closed executive session on December 16th, 2025, beginning at 5:03 p.m. The closed executive session was for limited personnel matters, specifically the superintendent's mid-year check-in per the superintendent's contract, which is pursuant to NMSA 10-15-1H subparagraph 2. A quorum was in attendance, discussion only, and no action was taken. I attest that discussion was limited to that as stated in the motion to go into closed executive session, and that no decisions were made and that no action was taken. We're on item F, public comment. Mrs. Chavez or Mrs. Wolf, how many speakers have signed up to provide comment for tonight's meeting?
We do not have any this evening.
We have none. My goodness, we are on item G. Approval of consent items.
Madam President,
Mr. Vickers.
you need for a motion?
Yes.
How about I read this one
Yeah,
part?
okay.
I would stand for a motion regarding the consent items. Mr. Vickers.
Madam President, I move that we approve the entire consent agenda except for Finance Committee item letter M, number 9, approval of MOU between Future Focused Education and Los Lunas Schools for GRIP program, and at CHS, item 10, approval of MOU between Future Focused Education and Los Lunas Schools for GRIP program at Los Lunas High School. And item 11, approval of MOU between Future Focused Education and Los Lunas Schools for GRIP program at VHS.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vickers. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Mr. Vickers has moved and Mr. Bennett has seconded to approve all of the action items as listed on the consent agenda, with the exception of M, number 9, 10, and 11. For the benefit of the audience, consent items are the action items on the agenda presented by the superintendent and her staff for approval. All agenda items have been reviewed by the board members individually. If no discussion has been asked regarding these items by any of the board members, the action items may be submitted for approval with one motion or vote. The action items that are not consented will be discussed prior to action being taken. Is there any discussion? Having no discussion, I will call for the vote. Mr. Vickers, it is your motion.
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia?
I vote yes.
Mr. Otero?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion passes 5-0. With that, we are now on to item I, the Superintendent of Schools report from Mrs. Chavez. Mrs. Chavez, I will turn this over to you now.
Thank you, Madam President. Dr. Osowski, I would like to invite Mrs. McMinn to the podium for the presentation of the construction update.
Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Chavez, thank you again for having us this evening to give an update on some of the improvements we're making across the district. So for this month, some of the projects we'd like to highlight on the first slide. We did see some parking lot restriping done at RGE. We made some corrections to the ADA parking spaces and the crosswalks there, as well as restripe the remaining spots to better accommodate our families that need access into the building and make a smoother flow for them. So that was done over this last month. We have also begun doing some drainage improvements and concrete work with our in-house maintenance staff. Those are the two pictures on the top. And we're continuing this project around the school. We found that we've seen a lot of erosion due to just water runoff, especially with the amount of rain we've recently seen in the past months. So our team has been able to fix some concrete around the building, as well as adding gravel to prevent any further erosion from happening. We also have begun this week installing security shades. Those are ones you see at the bottom at Valencia Middle School. I believe that's off of their wrestling room. What we found is we had different types of shades, some fire rated, some not. So we're kind of standardizing across the board. We did an inventory of every school site. We placed a large group order, and these are the shades that are there. They are fire rated, so they meet all our fire requirements as far as having fabric shades. They're a weighted shade, so they roll up. There's a Velcro tab. In the case of an emergency and you're needing that blackout shade to protect our students, you simply pull the tab. The weight allows that to drop down and cover those windows. So we are going around the district and installing those where we do not have blinds currently on the doors. So a lot of times you see the side lights, windows, or whether it's a window on a door, we have ordered blinds to cover those, and those are being installed by our maintenance staff as well. We are also seeing progress at Tolman Elementary for the playground improvements. This was a little bit larger one for us because we had to create what we call a wood chip pod. Peralta has a lot of sand, and we're replacing that with wood chips where we're doing new equipment. So we're having to create concrete curbing, remove all that sand to make way for a new wood chip pod for our students and to have better fall protection for them with that new equipment going in. They will be starting Valencia Elementary's playground over the Christmas break, and then in the new year, wrapping up by finishing up and doing Sundance Elementary. So that will complete all our playgrounds. We did see a bit of delay in where we wanted to be on this, partly because it is the same team that is doing the Peralta Elementary playground, and we want to make sure we have a nice Christmas present for them when they return. So one of their teams pulled off to get a jump start on that playground as well. Continuing on, we'll give a bit of an update on things happening at Peralta. We want to highlight their lovely Christmas tree on their stairway. We are going to be doing some finishing work on that stairway over the Christmas break. It was one of the punch list items we had for the construction project. It didn't quite have the finish we liked for it, so they are going to be coming over the break, grinding down that stairway, reapplying a concrete colored seal on that to give it the nice finish that we want to see. We are also continuing with the different site work. The next picture is concrete curbing that is going around what will be one of the pre-K playgrounds out of the two we will have. We also see a lot of progress happening with our synthetic turf field. That will be ready after Christmas break. And then on the bottom corner, it's a bit dated picture, but today they were pouring asphalt for the new bus loop, which will also be open after Christmas break. And following the next slide, you get to see some of those playground equipment that has been installed, and also will be a nice Christmas present for the students when they come back in January. They will have a full playground and field. They have a basketball court currently, and they will also have a volleyball court available to them outside. With this, that leaves the remaining items to be done at Peralta will be the front drop-off loop and the main parking lot. So that will be closed right when we end on Friday, and they'll start demoing that remaining front area and doing the main parking lot, and then that will be wrapping up our project at Peralta. So we're getting near the end. Next slide, we are finishing up the Valencia Elementary partition replacement. We've been able to, as well as what we did in Desert View, replace the partitions in all of the restrooms and updated and unified the school. It does give a fresher look to the facility, and we're hoping that the students really enjoy a clean and fresh. I see Valencia Elementary nodding their heads, so I'm glad to get their approval. And then next slide. No pictures to show you yet of Ann Parish, but there is plenty of work being done as far as the civil side and engineering of the building. As we have the layout done, now it's kind of down to the nitty-gritty work of doing all the engineering with roofing, our HVAC systems, electrical systems. As part of that, we want to thank the purchasing office for helping us procure some different contracts with geotech reporting. That's the soil testing that needed to be done in order to make sure we have the proper foundations for that building on the site. We've also recently wrapped up our site survey. We've had a full survey done, complete on existing and new site. So they continue with the civil engineering. And then one of the things we'll be working on next that is coming down the pipeline is a fire flow test, which we test the flow of the water for our fire hydrants that would be coming in, seeing what kind of flow and water we have, and then also water quality control testing, see what type of maybe water softener systems need to be required in that building based off the water quality. So those are things that are happening behind the scenes at Ann Parish that we're working with the architect firm on. And with that, I stand for any questions.
Thank you very much. I always appreciate your presentations, or Ms. Tiffany. Sorry, my brain. I went over to my question. I was reading my question and I was not multitasking well. Vickers, any questions?
No, just thank you for, I know you have a lot of work to do on a lot of different buildings. Thank you for all you do.
Yeah, I have any questions either, but thank you. Great job, great presentations, and good job.
Mr. Otero?
No questions. Thank you for your presentation.
Mrs. Simoia?
Oh, I have a question. So I drive by Peralta every morning, and I get the slow ride. So I do enjoy it. I can see everything through that slow ride. I'm also the one yelling at people that don't think that's a slow ride. I'm, hey, looking on the window. School's up. But when is this supposed to be due? When is this going to be complete? Because every day I drive past it, and there's something more done.
Yes.
And I can see the change of it, but just for community members that are asking.
We're anticipating a March completion of everything. So that's, making sure all the landscaping's done, fine tooth, everything wrapped up end of March. We're waiting for that weather to kind of turn in March to do the planting. So that'll be the very last thing that comes in. But that would be the time frame that we would look at.
I noticed the construction trailer is like almost getting ready to be moved. Is that
It will
true?
probably not be there after Christmas break.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yes,
All right.
we're pushing them off the site.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they're
With that, I know a lot of community, it's very hard for parking. We do have the north parking open to staff in the morning, so we're glad to have that. I know it's not visual from the road, but there is a parking lot there. It is gonna be a bit of a sore spot of parking across the street to accommodate maybe more visitors. We're looking at having an area, so for late arrivals and drop-off, that is closer to the site and accommodating, but we still wanna make sure we keep a secure campus. So we're currently working with the contractor this week to finalize the changing of fencing and how that's gonna work for Peralta.
Works. You're doing a great job, so thank you. I'm looking forward to the January meeting to see what got done over the week. Thank you, though. Appreciate you.
I have one question. When we talked about the window security shades, about how many across the district, just a ballpark, are we looking to, is your team trying to get installed?
A lot. I can get that number for you. We do have a spreadsheet. I don't recall off the top of my head how much it is, but we did do an inventory of every school, making sure every classroom had a window shade. The only school I will say that we had started a project a couple years back at Los Angeles High School providing the roller shades, which was original to the school. We do have the upstairs second level to do, but that's something that we are looking at finishing up with this. But I can get that spreadsheet that has all the counts on it per school.
Is it more windows that need to be completed versus windows that have already been completed, so it's quite a bit of a lift still?
I think after this, all of our windows will be secure and the kids will have secure blinds for their classrooms.
So what about the teachers who've done such a beautiful job putting up curtains? Will those now need to come down because of fire marshal?
Correct. Unfortunately, a lot of those curtains, which I would be one myself making my own, are not fire rated. So this is something when we met and as we are wrapping up our fire marshal inspections this year, that is one of the topics that came up. So we felt it was the best interest. We want to ensure that our students and staff feel safe. And so we found this substitute for them. So we're not asking them just to take down their blinds and feel exposed, but we're providing them something that meets both fire code and the security measures that we want to see on our school sites.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you, Mrs. McMahon. I invite Ms. Tracek to the podium to provide her presentation for her budget, finance, and audit reports.
Okay, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Chavez. So again, we have our monthly reports. This first one is for the budget of the expenses. And we have the fund, the description of the fund, what we have, the budget authority currently in the OBMS that the PED has already approved for budget. The budget that might change after the bars that that were presented today. And then what has been spent or encumbered. The remaining balance would be the amount of what has been approved. The budget authority, less what has been spent or encumbered, gives you a remaining balance, and then the percentage of that balance. You can go down and have, when you see that, first when you see the blue highlight, that is one bar that you might recognize that has been, that is in the bars for this month. I put a new one in there this time with the green there. That was a bar that went through last month, but it has not been approved by the PED yet because that particular fund, we put the bar in, you did your signature, then we waited for the PED to sign. After we signed, that has been received, and then that has just recently been submitted. So that bar has gone through. So I colored it green because it's not something you might recognize seeing today, but it was last month. If you go through and then add up all the funds, you get to the bottom and you have the remaining balance. Grand total is at 35% remaining. And then I have the prior month at 37. So pretty much on track for what you normally see at this time. Okay, would you like to go to the revenue? Okay, revenue is a little bit newer of a report, and we have our fund description, our budgeted revenue. So this amount could vary from the amount that you see on the front in the expenses for budget authority, because some funds not only have revenue coming in, but also have cash reserves from the prior year. So you might see the expense, the budgeted, total budget might be greater than just what we budget for revenue. Then you have a total column for the revenue received. There is a column for revenue that was received in the current fiscal year that relates back to the prior year. And the difference between total versus prior revenue is your current year revenue, and then the remaining balance and the remaining balance percentage. On this, you go to see that at the grand total, we still have 56% remaining, and the prior month was 65%. So you're starting to see a little bit more revenue coming in than we have in the past. Do you have any questions on any of these reports?
Thank you, Mrs. Trazik. Mr. Otero, I'll start with you. Do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
Mrs. Simoia?
No, thank you. Thank you so much, hon.
Mr. Vickers?
No, but thank you for doing these presentations. I would not.
Mr. Bennett?
I have nothing, thank you.
I have one or two. Okay, so I'm on the revenue, and I was just highlighting how many zeros we still have in the current revenue, which this column looks so much better than the last couple of months have looked. So, and I think you said during finance that slowly but surely the federal funds are starting to come back in. But I highlighted zeros in terms of current revenue, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 funds still. How are we covering that through operational? And have we submitted stuff and it's just slow rolling?
You know, some of it is due to slow rolling, some of it was paused. This year has been different. It's the first time I think we've ever had budget authority, and then we were told, hold on, don't spend it. So it was a little different, and that's kind of a little uncomfortable because I've been able to always in the past be very comfortable with, if I have budget authority, we can start spending it now. So some of them were delayed due to that.
Right.
Then there is also the always constant delay of, you know, once we start spending, then we have to finalize that month, then we have to ask for reimbursement. It goes through, we'll post it on, you know, through the OBMS. They have time to run through theirs before they actually cut the check to us. So then we post that. So there is a delay on it. So that does happen. So part of that is just natural and doesn't have anything to do with it. But there are some funds that were delayed where we were asked not to start spending.
So on these accounts that have current zeros, operational is carrying those right now? Because I mean, we've had to expend something. I mean,
If
we've
it
got
was
things to do.
expensed, yes, if it was expensed, anytime any of the funds if it's a reimbursable fund, when you look at the fund by itself, where a fund cannot be negative cash.
Right.
But it is because we are putting out that expense waiting for it to be reimbursed. So in that case, on our cash report, we will show that operational, it's a loan from operational to those funds to zero it out because it can never be negative.
Okay, thank you very much. Those are my questions. Thank you very much. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. And then for the audit, we again had our monthly audit meetings. For our regular audit, normally our regular audit would be done, would be completed, sent up to the state auditor mid-November. However, this year, there was a delay due to the federal government didn't provide the information to all auditors, what exactly for the single audit on the federal funds, the specifics of what they wanted audited. Due to them not receiving that information was given to our state auditor, and our state auditor postponed the deadline for audits to be January 20th. So our normal, regular audit, it does not have to be completed to the state auditor until January 20th. However, the good news is it looks like ours should be done sooner than that because we did receive our draft from our auditors yesterday. And we're looking at that right now just to make sure that we agree with the numbers. We will be sending that copy out to our audit committee for them to look at ahead of time before the next audit committee, next date audit committee. And we probably will be ready to have our exit conference for the next meeting. As for the special audit, that is still ongoing, so I have nothing to report for that.
Are there any questions about audit? Mr. Vickers, Mr. Bennett?
No.
Mr. Otero?
No.
Mrs. Simoia?
No, thank you.
Thank you very much. I know getting that draft in was pretty nice. It was promised a couple of weeks ago, so to have it come in probably felt pretty good.
Great,
Now you have homework.
I was in cabinet and I was like, I gotta go.
You just finished finals and now you can start
More numbers, yes.
more numbers, yes. So there you go.
Thank you, Ms. Tracek. December is one of our shorter months of the year, but it is a busy one full of activities and studies. We are in the final week of our fall semester. Finals are this week. We wish all our students who are taking finals all the best on their exams. Students are also completing the middle of the year benchmark assessments. The assessments began the first week of December. Next month, we will publish a new section on our district website. The new academic section will be published in early January. The last day of the semester for students is on Thursday. Friday is a professional development day for staff. Staff will return on January 5th, and students will return on January 7th. Wilsona Schools is closed for winter break December 22nd through January 3rd. Staff will return to professional development days on January 5th and 6th. We wish everyone a safe and restful winter break. Happy holidays to our students, staff, and community. We will see you all in 2026. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you very much. Item I, the Superintendent of Schools report, is for informational purposes only. No action is needed or warranted at this time. We are moving on to item J, board commendations. Mr. Bennett, I will start with you.
I have none at this time.
Thank you very much. Mr. Vickers,
I do not have any.
Mr. Otero,
I would like to commend the two young ladies at, and Astro, Ava McKinney and Sophia Rodriguez for assisting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to commend Mr. Bennett for his, 4.5 years of service on the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would also like to congratulate Mrs. Dana Sanders for her election, and she'll be joining the board next month. That's all I have.
thank you very much. Mrs. Simoia.
I have a few to the educators, the staff, central office, all the employees within the district. Would like to extend a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. You're almost there. Get through Friday, enjoy, and please be safe during the holidays. And please don't get sick during the holidays. I can't have you sick, okay? We talked about that earlier. So we do want you to stay well, but you are greatly appreciated in everything that you do and how you contribute. And I know that everyone on the board feels this way about you. Ms. Kittredge isn't in here, but a special thanks to her and Ms. Wolf as well. As for Mr. Bennett, this is going to be hard. I know we'll enjoy cake in a minute, Mr. Bennett, but I wanted to personally thank you for your years of service and dedication to the board. There isn't an event that goes on outside of this boardroom that Mr. Bennett doesn't attend, including the Matanza, the cooking thereof. Twist your arm to join us again. He's a very special individual. He's genuine in the community. Ms. Sanders is going to enjoy sitting up here as well, and so welcome to Ms. Sanders. But for right now, I'd like to say goodbye to my friend, so I'm going to miss you. So thank you.
I have a couple. First of all, the board, along with administrators across the district, have been working on a strategic plan. And this is our own strategic plan. It is coming to us from our own interests. And there's been lots of folks that have put time and energy and input, and I want to thank them for their work. It's not easy work, and it's sometimes a little frustrating, but I think when we come out of this, we will have something for the first time in several years that we will call ours, and it will help us move forward. At the same time, we will have the first ever instructional plan to piggyback with it. And I want to commend Mrs. Chavez and her team for putting that together. So we will provide a laser-focused approach to what it will take to get this district to be premier. And that is our goal, nothing less. So taking no prisoners, we will see this happen, and I'm confident in that. I was also, my husband and I were guests at the Los Lunas High School cross-country team's annual banquet. More than 30 of their students had GPAs over 3.25. And those kids run anywhere from a 5K per day to 15 to 20 miles, depending on part of their season. It was impressive to stand there. My own sons ran cross country, so I have a fondness for it. But to again see a nice big team up there as they welcomed a middle school program, and they recognized about 6 or 7 middle school students, and then to have these athletes not only perform so well in their district and then their state meets, but then to be academicians as well was noteworthy. So I want to commend their leadership and the students and their parents. I also have noticed that we've had 3 or 4 more students have signed letters of intent. Very excited to see that our students have plans moving forward and that they have visions and dreams and that we have been a part of that. So I want to congratulate them. As well, we've had many, many student athletes identified between boys and girls soccer, volleyball, cross country, football programs in both of our comprehensive high schools, recognized for either all district, all state, et cetera. There are so many students, and I'm afraid I would miss one. So again, congratulations to all of the adults and those students who had a part in that. I think it was an incredible effort. And I will reserve my comments for Mr. Bennett so he can sit and kind of worry about what I'm going to say.
Keep them short.
But, I don't know, buddy. I do also want to commend the ROTC and the robotics team up at the high school. I purchased Luminatias from them. They were polite, they were efficient, they phoned to remind me more than one time. They loaded me so nicely and polite folks, so I'm looking forward to having those out on Christmas Eve. But it was a pleasure to have students handle all of the communication, and that they did it with such professionalism, I thought was just admirable, so I wanted to put that note out. So that concludes item J. We will now be moving on to item M. 9, 10, and 11. I was the board member that dissented this. So I'm going to put my comments for all 3. And then I understand, Mrs. Chavez, there may be Is there a presentation that your staff wanted to add with these?
Yes, there is.
Okay, so I'll put my comments out. Actually, let's do the presentation first.
Thank you.
Let's start with the positive.
Thank you, Madam President. Dr. Osowski, I'd like to invite Ms. Susie Travis to the podium for the presentation.
Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Chavez, I would like to invite Ms. Chelsea Cervantes, the Director of Secondary Programs, to share her presentation. Madam President, members of Los Lunas Schools Board of Education, and Superintendent Chavez, thank you for the opportunity to speak about the Graduation Reengagement Internship Program again this month. I also have with me this evening all three principals from our high schools, as well as Ms. Jessica Baldonado, who works intently in this program and supports our students and teachers through this program as well. I'm just going to go over briefly. These are the same slides that I presented last month. And so just as a reminder, what is GRIP? It is a credit recovery opportunity for students. They do receive a stipend for their work within the community. All programs are required to either have a mentorship, internship, or community program or project associated with them. Next slide. This gives us a rundown of what the student internship is. And again, we must have work with an employer or a community-based project. And students also develop oral and written presentations and are then evaluated by a panel of highly qualified teachers. For the teachers who act as mentors within this program, they do receive a stipend. This structure has changed slightly from last year to this year. Teachers mentoring 2 to 6 interns will be eligible for a $1,500 stipend, and teachers mentoring 7 to 15 interns are eligible for a $2,200 stipend. They are required to participate in professional learning. This is a community of practice that is statewide. Go ahead. These are the dates, and one of the reasons why I wanted to present this program last month as well, just because I knew these dates kind of were in a funky alignment with our board meeting nights, and we did not want this presentation to come last minute as it did last year. Okay. One of the great things that comes out of this program is a strong alignment with Yazzie Martinez's decision in New Mexico. This program is specifically aligned to support students that are considered low income, Native American, English language learners, students with disabilities. However, this program is eligible to all students. Within a capstone project, whether that be an original credit class or in this case, a recovery course, there is high alignment to an IEP transitional plan, which is important for our students with IEPs. Currently, if they are seniors, they are working on their transition plan. And you can see this strong alignment between a capstone project and IEP transition plan for exploration, interest inventories, development of proposals, using research that can be active research as well with community members. We also have project creation and then a transition plan, which in this case would be our final exhibitions. Statewide, last year, these are some statistics. I wanted to just point out a couple of them. As far as credit recovery is concerned, statewide 471.5 credits were recovered. That being stated, it averaged about 1.6 credits per individual. Most students recovered at least 0.5 credits. However, there are students that did not recover any credits because they did not reach the thresholds put forth before them. That was not the case in Los Lunas schools. All of our students were successful in reaching their graduation goal. Also, students who participated in GRIP statewide, 77% of those participants from cohort 2025 graduated, which shows us strong alignment to our statewide graduation average, although they were initially off track. On On top of that, just the educator outcomes, the ability to have professional development and look at our practices inside of a community of practice. Looking at best practices and research-based practices is very important for our teachers, and there was a high degree of satisfaction with those training series. Okay. Within Los Lunas schools, we did see credit recovery across all content areas, including electives. Again, with 100% of our participants that stayed the course in the program, reaching graduation either during regular graduation or summer graduation. Okay, some of our participants were employed students, some had mental health issues, some had lost a parent or just showed academic struggle throughout their high school career. Okay. And I also, this is a new addition from last month, wanted to share a student testimonial. And so we do need to adjust the volume before we start the video. I promise we tried this earlier this afternoon and it did work. Those volumes beat on technology.
Technology, though, I'm standing close to you.
Hello, my name is Joaquin Bio, and I'm a recent high school graduate from Los Lunas High School, and I had the fortunate opportunity to be a part of the GRIT program. Now, when I was in school, I was a bit of behind on some credits, and with graduation day inching closer and closer, I wouldn't have been able to graduate on time. But when I was introduced to the GRIT program, with all of its benefits, it really motivated me to graduate, because graduation was something that I really wanted. Seeing math credit and elective credit. And so what I did for my project was looking over some graphs on the ozone layer over a few years to see how strong and how weak it got. And then that was for my math portion. For my elective course, I selected community service, and I provided some ways on how we can prevent the ozone layer from becoming weaker, or how we can provide some ways to help keep it strong. Because I had learned what I learned in my math course, and I jotted down all the graphs and key points of the graphs. And it did take a lot of effort, but I was willing to put in the effort because graduation was something that I really wanted. As of right now, I am currently working, saving up some money until I go to college in the spring. So thank you for this opportunity.
Very nice.
Now we'll wait for the volume to be adjusted again. Okay, my voice naturally carries, so. With your permission, I would also like to just add a little bit of information. This is hot off the press from our very first GRIT meeting. As you'll see with the important dates, today was the kickoff date. Again, similarly to last year, we have been extremely clear that we will fully participate if and when our board agrees to the MOU. Okay, but I would like to share some information that we believe by being part of this program last year, having the opportunity to be vocal in how this program was laid out, there have been some very real adjustments to in response from the state to how this program was rolled out. One, we have a whole lot more time. If you remember last year, it was in March. And so we were running in about 0.2 seconds. This time we have a considerable amount of time. Students know exactly where we are. We're right at the end of semester 2, and we have time to thoughtfully plan and ensure that community connection and that internship mentorship connection. We also have the opportunity, we also gave feedback that we wanted more guidelines, some guidance as to what those student milestones looked like. And so we got those today. With your permission, I'd like to pass these out.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
For the benefit of the public, I know that this is not on a slide, so I'm just going to read through the bolded areas. There are 9 milestones that every student must accomplish in order to earn the full stipend. First one, idea development and goal setting. The second is building a plan and finding resources. The third is aligning project competencies. The fourth, taking action and implementing ideas. The fifth, personal growth and skill development. The sixth is self-assessment and progress evaluation. The seventh is time and task management. The eighth is digital literacy and technology skills. And the final is exhibition of learning. So we appreciated that there are some more guidelines with this program at this time, which allow our teachers, our mentors, and our site principals to really ensure high expectations throughout the entirety of the program. And with that, we will stand for questions.
Thank you very much. We'll take questions first before we'll move to a motion. So, are there any questions or comments?
I have a question. You know, you expressed about the IEPs or whatever.
Yes.
Aren't we doing that ahead of time before, to know where these kids are already and trying to get into recovery? Or is it just now that because we're waving a few bucks at them, they're like, oh, I guess I'll go this route? Because I know the recovery system's always been good at Valencia High School, and there was never a dollar waved in front of them, number one. And if PED wants to throw this money out there, I can only see them trying to pad their graduation rates, in a sense, because I understand what this gentleman said and did, but I understand it's a lot harder going to the actual recovery classroom and actually doing the work instead of, this wasn't as tense as a recovery, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I get it, and it's free money, but maybe not all money is good money. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what we're really showing them there by, you know, how many did we take care of last year, and how many have applied this year? Is a question. And there's some saying, well, you know, it's easy to me to make a quick buck, dude. You know, you got to get on that program.
I'm going to let some of our site principals address that.
So I personally have kids in lots of recovery classes, if you've heard from me before. Many of my students that are participating in or express interest in participating in GRIP this year, they need those credit recovery that we're doing all year round, and they need GRIP to make it. The credit recovery courses average about 28 to 30 hours per class. And if you're meeting with a teacher an hour a week, plus you're doing several hours a week out in the community, plus you're doing, you know, planning, preparation, all that kind of stuff, it's likely the students are putting more hours into GRIP than they would to an online computer recovery class.
I understand that, but what is the, I mean, you're talking to guys getting credit for looking at a chart versus doing Algebra 2. I mean, I was not good in Algebra 2, so I'd have loved to choose a chart.
So I personally was an Algebra 2 teacher for 14 years. Algebra 2 is the deep study of real-world functions. If you read the description of it, it's really using the mathematics to find the critical points, find where it's switching, find where it's crossing zeros, and interpret and say what those are for various different functions, exponentials, logarithmics, polynomial functions. And so I think in the video, it didn't come across, and I didn't work with this particular student. But when I heard him as a math teacher say I had to find the critical points of a graph and say what they mean, that is the goal of Algebra 2. That is the core and essence of what we spend an entire year doing, is studying different functions and finding those points. And so I would say this was spot on. And when you start digging into a complicated equation of years of real data, he likely had to sit with a math teacher, and Ms. Baldonado or Ms. Baldonado could probably attest to that. But it takes a lot of mathematics to find those points. It wasn't just looking at the graphs and saying, here it is. You know, this student was required to sit with a math teacher and calculate those things.
Yeah, and like I said, getting back to, I mean, if we've got this kid's many failing back there, we're not failing him at the get-go to get him to this point. I mean, it's like, how many we got this year trying to, signing up for this grip versus last year?
How many have we identified?
So this year at Los Angeles High School, I believe we've identified 37. Last year it was 19. However, I do feel that that growth is due to our time frame that we have. As Ms. Cervantes noted a minute ago, is that we didn't start this until March of last year. We're already in December, and we've already started some of that legwork. So I really think that that is the reasoning behind that number has gone up. I don't think that it's necessarily that they said, hey, you should do this so you can get some more money. And I'm sure, I mean, we know we have kids, they could be doing that and they could be saying, hey, you should try this program, but I don't think that if we looked at some of these students, they've already been working in Edgenuity, they've been working in the credit recovery. It's just another opportunity that we're giving them. It's not that it's students that have completely given up and said, okay, well, I'm not gonna graduate, and then now this program comes out and it's their only opportunity. These are kids that are already working in Edgenuity and credit recovery courses.
At Valencia High School, we have 18 identified students at this time. To me, the enticement for our students is relevance. It's making, you saw the young man, his project is something that he can use moving forward, skills that he can gain as a young adult and make it relevant to the learning. You see the algebra on the computer, you see it in class, you don't have a connection to what you're really trying to get in your future career or in your future goals. So by making the learning relevant, by doing a hands-on project or a community project, they're able to just put a little bit more value into the classes that they need to recover, where it didn't have in the first place.
Right.
Any other questions, Mr. Vickers?
No.
Mrs. Simoia?
I had a question to you on, Claire, on CHS. What were your numbers last year and what are your numbers this year?
Last year, we did not participate in the program. It came up late and the application, deadline was very fast. This year, we have 25 plus that are looking to try and participate.
Fantastic. And as a general,
And those are students that even with our grant work, we've identified are within striking distance, but they can't get there with other options.
absolutely. What percentage of the participants are in some type of a employer work type of a program, would you say, for this credit recovery?
Currently, to be honest with you, I do not know how many are currently in that. Second semester is really where we amp up our work experience programs and things of that nature. So students would be identified around this time with our counselors to be formally in a program with like a work-based learning experience at this time.
Just one final thing on tracking and reporting. Do the three of you all work together so that basically the reporting of where the student is, where they started, how many credits we're averaging, so that there's a great data set as an overall district for us?
So with the help of Jessica Baldonado, we've kind of already started adapting the materials, and there's a handbook created, there's tracking forms for when you meet with your mentor, there's tracking forms for meeting your milestones, there's proposals for your project, there's written intents to participate. where students have to write a letter and intend to participate. There's parental permission forms. So we've already started as a district developing the tracking and the accountability forms.
So you'd be able to report out to the board or on, as an overall in a district on that?
Yes, absolutely. And the other thing that has come from the result of the work of our 3 campuses together is a unified digital portfolio that our students will be able to, again, track their work through, capture all of the work that they've done, and then present in a very polished way. We are a one-to-one district. It is important for our district, it is important for our students that we are empowering them with the necessary skills to sell themselves once they leave here in their next act, whatever that is. And so, you know, when we look at, I think some recent statistics that I just saw, I don't know if you've seen on the news, right? But like they're coming out with some of these summer internships and these types of things. Over 80% of students have a desire to make a connection in the community, do an internship, a work-based learning experience of some sort. Only 2% in actuality have. And and I'm trying to remember, I took a snapshot of it and I'm like, what is the middle statistic? It was over half of them don't even know what opportunities are available to them, right? And so I think that is a gap that we can meet in a program like this for students that are in desperate need of those connections. And in fact, when we look at the data for the state specifically, over 70% of participants from last year statewide stated that they made a connection within the community that they believed would help them in their future with their plans of employment. That's huge.
Well, I appreciate your passion, and I know that it doesn't come easy. This is an extra burden on all of you to do this, so your passion for it is one heck of a selling point, as is these milestones. That's a business plan.
Yes.
I have people who graduate from college that can't do this, so yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Otero.
Madam President, I know we've listened to several presentations regarding this issue, and I think we've kind of dragged you guys around a while. You know, when we get involved in what we do and serving on the board, I think that we can all agree that we're here for the best for our students, and all students learn differently. Some struggle, some achieve highly, but you know, I support meaningful ways to accomplish this, and so I will be watching how your program continues. I thank you all and appreciate what you're doing, but once again, it's important that we look at whatever method we can to help these students to recover the grades they need to graduate, and once again graduate with in a meaningful way, and to help them live a life that they can prosper and achieve in. So thank you.
So I have a few comments. I am not gonna lie, I have a problem with this. And I know it's not your coming to us. I know that PED came up with this initiative. And I believe that part of the problem is that PED is wanting to see an increased graduation rate. And so they give us these opportunities to do these things where we can go out and sell this to our community and sell this as a viable option. First of all, relevance should be happening in every classroom. This is not a new word. This is a 30-year-old word. We have had plenty of professional development and academic research. So that we're saying this is now just hitting for some students is alarming to me. The second thing that I have a problem with is that we 25 out of your high school graduating class is 25%. doubling the numbers at Los Lunas High School of the 11th hour for the number of kids, and it's more than 10% of the graduating class, is a problem for me. I'm not gonna lie about that. I said it in finance, I'll say it here. I have a problem that this program can replace an English credit, a math credit, and a science credit, because you can't tell me, showing me one standard. I too taught Algebra 2, and chemistry, and physics. And my second master's was in environmental and atmospheric chemistry. I know what those charts look like. I know what's required in the calculations. And I can tell you, it's usually not Algebra 2 level work. Not that it wasn't meaningful to him, but something that I heard from this particular student, and I appreciate. He was thankful, he was appreciative of the opportunity, but he also said, I fell behind. And we identified him at the 11th hour. When we have a less than 30% proficiency in math, and we take a program like this and we let it go for 10 math credits, it's a problem for me. It does not have the same rigor as a classroom. Yes, it lines nicely with the Yazzie Martinez lawsuit, but many things can align nicely with the Yazzie Martinez lawsuit. I do believe that we have many students who've had a very nasty set of cards delivered to them, and they do need an opportunity like this. I don't believe that that's 37 students at one school, 25 at another, and 18 at another. So those are my problems with it. That's why I dissented it, and that's why I wanted it on the public record. I do think that there's lots of opportunities to learn, and I think the board has provided lots of opportunities for learning. But I think when we're identifying these kids in their 7th semester, going in, or at the end of their 7th semester out of 4 years of school, when we can still take credit for a 5-year graduate in our accountability model, it's a problem for me. So with that, I will make the motion, since I was the one that dissented. I move to not, and I'm going to do this as a bulk motion for items 9, 10, and 11. I move to not approve the memorandum of understanding between Future Focused Education and Los Lunas Schools for the GRIP program for CHS, Los Lunas High School, and VHS.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? Having no discussion, I will
Madam
call.
President.
I'm sorry, did I not look to my left? I was focused on writing
No,
something.
I just like to wait. I think I made a comment a while ago that we have drug this around. I agree with you in a lot of what you said. Now, I don't think that, you know, the numbers are minimal. I don't think that PED is going to make a big swing in graduation rates with what they're doing. Now, do I agree with what PED does? No. But it's like I stated earlier, I believe in opportunities, but it depends on what the opportunity is and what we're looking at. So I'm going to leave it at that. I don't think it's going to make a big difference as far as graduation rates, and go ahead and follow through with your vote.
Any other discussion?
Madam President.
Yes, Mrs. Seymour.
I would just like to say that there are other educational opportunities that we are losing students from this district to go into a charter and homeschool opportunities in which self-paced, self-driven programs that are not as rigorous or maintained as this is also what we are competing with students. I also feel that if there are 25, 37, and 18 students that have reached out and said, I need help, and I recognize we have given them help and opportunity all the way, and then there's the realization, I have a coworker's daughter just got her degree check up in Rio Rancho, and she was told she's short, she's credit short. And mom is like shocked about this, and I'm like, oh, don't act like you're shocked. She never goes to class, come on. Those kind of things as a parent. So I think that we fail our community if we don't support every effort And I don't like paying to reward delayed or latent parenting or behavior oversight. But I think we need to be empathetic to the community members that weren't fortunate enough to have a dual parent household, that weren't fortunate enough to have a roof over their head, a meal in front of them every night, that have slipped through this. Do I believe all of those individuals meet that description? No. But there is a program out there, and I would not feel comfortable with myself if I didn't support any opportunity to give them some type of a background that they can graduate and become productive members of society. Their alternative is they don't graduate, they drop out of society, that kind. I just see this as a perpetual. So I agree though with your statement. I don't like rewarding latent and delayed behavior and all of a sudden it's wake up call. But I think this is a structured and good program to catch this. So just my comments.
Appreciate that. My comments, in addition to what I just made, was these skills that are outlined here as intern milestones are expectations in every single course. You have to build a plan and find a resource when you're doing a lab project, or when you're writing an English paper, or when you're responding to a social studies project. Time and task management, digital literacy. We've been teaching this since we've been one-on-one. So I appreciate the passion, and yes, do I want kids to be able to graduate? There is also nothing wrong with being a fifth-year graduate and doing it in a way that hits all of the standards that are necessary. So that's the end of my soapbox. I'm going to call for the vote. Mr. Vickers, how do you vote? I remember the motion is not approve.
So I vote no.
Okay. Mr. Bruce Bennett.
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia.
I vote no.
Mr. Otero.
No.
And I vote yes. Motion fails 2-3. So the approval of the memorandum is passed.
No, Madam President,
Yes.
I would move to approve
Yeah.
item 5, Finance Committee item, and I'll make it a group motion. Item 9, approval of MOU between Future Focused Education and LL Schools for the GRIP programs at CHS. Number 10, for the GRIP program at LLHS. And number 11, for the GRIP program at VHS.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Vickers. Thank you, Mrs. Simoia. Mrs. Simoia has moved and Mr. Vickers has seconded to approve items M9 for the GRIP program at CHS, item M10 for the GRIP program at LLHS, and item M11 for the GRIP program at VHS. Is there any other discussion? I will call for the motion, or the vote on this one. Mrs. Simoia, was your motion?
I'll vote yes.
Mr. Vickers?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
No.
Mr. Otero?
Yes.
And I vote no. Motion passes 3-2. Thank you, ladies. Thank you very, very much. We are on to item N, new business. This is board member requests for topics for upcoming board work sessions and or board work meetings. We have a couple of leftover from the last meeting that we couldn't get to tonight, given that we had a shortened time. So I have not let those drop off. So is there anything new that a board member would like to see?
Madam President,
No.
I think we're full.
We
I
really-
think we're full.
We really have
Yeah.
lots of full. Yes, ma'am?
sorry, would you tell me what you are going to have on here?
For
The
what?
items
For N?
Yeah.
Sure. Let me go back into my notes.
I believe we start with those board policies.
We have board policies. We have 3 that are raising to the top, but I need to get to that topic. So we have 3 policies that are pending. First is social media. The next one is on, shoot, I'm not finding my notes. We have social media. We have, oh, come on. I'm not finding it in my notes because I'm stressed right here. But we have 3 board policies. I can email those to you tomorrow. And then we also had some lingering ones left over. Mrs. Simoia had asked for a report out on the opportunities to have for social emotional wellness and for employees that we have not yet had a report out on. We also have, let me see if I can find it. I'll be calm enough here to find it. There it is. So Mrs. Simoia had asked for a report on wellness, well-being. We've already had a NIPSIA presentation, but we have not still heard on our wellness and well-being opportunities within the district. We are still working on the strategic plan. We have not confirmed our online streaming to where participants can ask questions if they are streaming, so we still need to visit that one. And then we have 3 board policies, and I'm not finding them in my notes, and I apologize for that one. So those would be the topics, but I can get those for you. Okay, item O, announcement for meetings. This brings us to the announcement of meetings. As allowed by the Open Meetings Act and the District Open Meetings Resolution, on occasion a quorum of the board members attend the same function, including school and district celebrations and ceremonies, as well as sports functions, conferences, workshops, trainings, and community events. Board members will refrain from discussing and/or acting on Los Angeles Schools Board of Education issues in those settings. In addition, only official meetings are published, and if other meetings are scheduled, they will be announced in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. With that being said, I would like to announce the following meetings. January 6th, 2026 in the Central Office Boardroom. The swearing-in ceremony for the incoming board members that will begin at 5:45 p.m. Also on January 6th, 2026 will be a special board meeting in the Central Office Boardroom beginning at 6 o'clock p.m. and this is board reorganization and topics as listed on the agenda. On January 13th, 2026 will be the Audit Committee in the Central Office Conference Room beginning at 3:30 p.m. This is for regular and special audits. The attendance is by invitation only. Also on January 13th, 2026, the Finance Committee in the Central Office Conference Room beginning at 4 o'clock p.m. On January 20th, 2026 will be a board work session held in the Central Office Boardroom beginning at 5 o'clock p.m. Topics will be listed on the notice and the agenda. This will be discussion only. No decisions will be made, and a quorum of the board will be in attendance. On January 20th, 2026 will be a regular board meeting in the Central Office Boardroom beginning at 6 o'clock p.m. I am now on item P, the presentation to outgoing board member Bruce Bennett. I would like to thank you for your service and for standing in some pretty difficult times and some waters.
Lucky you called it water.
Yeah. In the last 24 months, we have addressed significant issues. 16 of them from my list. Luckily, we put a high-quality superintendent in place to help us sort through that. But through every single bit of it, you were right there in the fray, taking slings and arrows. But we are a better district from your service. We are a better district from your time. We are a better district because you chose to be a part of this board. You are a gentleman. You are an incredible individual, and I will miss you.
Pushing it.
And at the same time, I welcome Mrs. Sanders. So if you would please stand with me and thank Mr. Bennett.
And then I give my speech.
The Los Angeles Schools would like to present this to you, to Mr. Bruce Bennett, the 16th day of December, 2025, in recognition of your dedication and service as a member of the Los Angeles Schools Governing Committee from 21-22 and the Los Angeles Schools Board of Education 22 through 25. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Well, I want to start off by thanking Lisa and Karen. Without them, this job can't be done because they pretty much tell us what to do. and also, I thank and blame my daughter and my sister for telling me to do this and support me as I did this. Without them, it would have been very hard. And I'd like to thank, Frank, Sonia, Michelle, and Dave. I mean, it's been great working with you guys, and I'm glad you didn't mind. I was unfiltered and animated. I appreciate that. And I also, too, would like to congratulate Ms. Dana Sanders for fulfilling this position up here, and I promise you they'll steam clean this chair. So as I embarked on this venture, nah, I'm just joking. I ain't gonna do no AI. I've had board members before. All I want to say is a happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas. Let's have some cake and go home to our families.
So I'm gonna adjourn the meeting before we go and have cake, so. we're
Dr.
on
Osowski,
item
can I say
Q.
one thank you to Mr. Bennett?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Mr. Bennett, thank you for your service. It is not easy to be a board member. My dad served on a school board, and it is not what people think it is. There are long hours, there are phone calls, there are things that you learn about what happens or may not happen. So thank you for giving your time. It does take away time from your family. And so thank you for spending your time with us. Thank you for your continued service to Los Lunas Schools. Thank you.
We're on item Q, adjournment. This leads us to the adjournment of the meeting. I would stand for a motion.
Moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Simoia. Mr. Bennett has moved and Mrs. Simoia has seconded to adjourn the meeting. I will call for the vote. Mr. Bennett, it is your motion.
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia,
I vote yes.
Mr. Otero,
Yes.
Mr. Vickers,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Meeting is adjourned, or motion is passed, the meeting is adjourned at 7:23 p.m. And let there be cake. Please join us for cake, because otherwise Mr. Bennett has a lot to take us home.
We got a
But
sign.
first,
Sherry.
yes, you gotta go over and.
Time, I've been there.